That's right, it may be my very first covered Nintendo Switch title for analysis, but this will always be the NX machine to me, just as it should be. So, to kick things off, I'm looking at a title that's not quite ready for launch. Something symbiotic with the launch itself of the handheld, Splatoon 2. I have also got a review coming soon and an in-depth analysis on The Legend of Zelda, a game that pretty much is nailed on to win Game of the Year, and quite rightly so, but you can learn more on that very soon. Here I'm looking at Splatoon 2, the beta or the alpha or whatever you want to call it, online test. Now, this game is really an upport and improvement on Splatoon from the Wii, and that comes down to many of the basic functions and features of the title. One of the things you have to get used to though is the control system, due to it requiring you to twist and tilt the actual joypad or the Switch unit itself in your hand as you play, along with the analog sticks, thus using it to hit your intended target and cover the scenery in your gooey coloured mess. It's a lot of fun and it plays exactly like Splatoon of old on the Wii U. It hasn't really improved in the gameplay or visual department. This online test is limited to 2 maps, which I've covered so far. It is a very limited test with only an hour available to you over this weekend at certain points. So we know visually it's not a huge leap over the original Wii U release, and that also comes down to the current state of affairs in the resolution, which is a native 1280 by 720 in the docked mode. It also is limited to the same on the handheld, which also has a screen limit of 720 and a capture card limit of 720. So that's the highest resolution you can capture from the unit itself. So this is not a great start, but this is an early test, so I hope this will be improved, and I don't see why not. Owing to the fact that the Switch is powered by an Nvidia Tegra X1, which is more powerful than what's inside the Wii U, effectively an upclocked and improved GameCube, but little else. This should see the system at least leap to around the 900p level on final release in the docked mode, but we will have to wait and see. So, anti-aliasing is again pretty much non-existent, and it does look very aliased on a 1080p display and much worse on a 4K screen. It looks a lot better on the handheld unit when you're playing it, which you can see a poor representation on screen, which I also use to capture some frame rate analysis of the handheld unit, which is a little more difficult due to the fact you can't get a direct feed from the unit itself. Visually, it's as nice as the previous Wii U title. Great use of colour, artistically very strong, incredibly smooth and fluid high keyframe animation, physics destruction, beautiful alpha effects from the splats of paints on the floor, nice touches like the shadows passing overhead or even the bokeh depth of field in gameplay sections, but it's a nigh on identical port from the Wii U Splatoon title, right down to the resolution count and the lack of any anti-aliasing. It does target 60 frames per second, and as you can see on screen, it hands in a completely lock solid 60 FPS throughout all my tested sections here, so there's no worries at all. And this is also carried over to the handheld unit, which hands in a locked 60 frames per second as well. I must say that unlike my standard direct capture, which is 100% accurate, there is margin of error here to take into account, but it is locked and solid in the handheld mode, and the visual quality does look better due to the smaller screen and the 720p native resolution on there. But overall, it's an impressive title, and for such an early release, it is a very solid performing one, but that all comes down to the fact that they're keeping the resolution low and therefore reducing the overhead on the GPU whilst you play the title. But it's an enjoyable and fun title, if nothing really new, and this online test doesn't really offer much up apart from one game type, Turf Wars, and 2 maps. If there is any more maps, I never got a chance to test them in the limited space available to us. So I am looking forward to playing the final release, but it doesn't really offer anything up over what I've already played in Splatoon on the Wii U, which is a shame, but hopefully more will be shown later. Server connection, lobby speeds and host times are all very impressive and no issues at all. Even though this lacks any hardware LAN cable, the 802.11ac connection in it certainly makes sure that you get the best quality connection available dependent on your home Wi-Fi router. But outside of this, it's not a huge leap. I did expect more in this to offer up maybe a treat of different game types, and really it feels like a solid and well accomplished port, but nothing more. I do hold and wait out my final judgment on the final release code that I'll hopefully have soon to check out and review, but as it stands, this is a solid title to add to the Switch catalogue, but it's nothing really new or groundbreaking over what you've already played in the original Wii U release. Anyway, you can see a few more minutes of frame rate footage, but there's nothing more to see. This doesn't drop any frames at all. It's solid in both modes. If you enjoyed this or anything else that I've put together, then please like and subscribe and share where appropriate. Leave all your thoughts and feedback below. I don't cover much Nintendo stuff because most likely this one is another one that I'm putting up for free because they'll claim their rights all over it. So apologies if this isn't as detailed and as long as you would normally expect, but I will be covering the handheld review very soon, along with the technical analysis of Legend of Zelda, so I hope you enjoy that. You guys and girls take care, and I'll catch you on the next one.